Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the April 9th regular meeting of the Community Development Commission of Chicago. I am Gwendolyn Hatton Butler, Chairwoman of the CDC. Today's meeting is being held at City Hall Council Chambers and is also being streamed by the Department of Planning and Development. The agenda for today's meeting was posted on April 4th, 2024, both on the CDC website and physically at City Hall. I will now call to order the April 9th meeting of the Community Development Commission with a call of the roll. Commissioners, when your name is called, please respond by saying present. Please note, this vote will be used to establish the roll call vote for subsequent items. Secretary Chan McKibben.
Present.
Commissioner Boatright. Commissioner Buford, Commissioner Curtis, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Gomez, Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Thomas, and Chair Butler is present. We have a quorum. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting held on March 5th, 2024. The commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes, and if there are no corrections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any changes offered by members of the commission to the minutes? Hearing no changes or objections, the motion is approved. Commissioners, for the first item of new business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with UHS of Hartgrove, Inc. for the disposition of the property located at 5736 West Roosevelt Road in the Roosevelt Cicero Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. Raquel Vega will provide a brief description of this change on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Raquel Vega, and I'm an urban designer with the Department of Planning and Development. And I am here seeking approval for the city land disposition of 5736 West Roosevelt Road, located in the Roosevelt Cicero TIF, to Hartgrove Hospital. The city parcel is approximately 40,000 square feet and just under 1 acre, located within the Austin community area and part of the 29th Ward, represented by Alderman Chris Taliaferro. UHS of Hartgrove, the developer, currently owns and operates the mental health hospital adjacent to the city parcel, and is part of Universal Health Services Incorporated, a major national healthcare provider operating more than 400 facilities nationwide. The land will be conveyed at market value, $440,000, to be placed in an environmental escrow for remediation of the parcel. The total project cost is an estimated $19.96 million, funded by developer equity. The hospital will construct a new wing to accommodate an additional 48 patients within 24 new rooms, and space for accessory services, such as the nurse's station. They will also expand the surface parking lot to 21 more spaces. To provide some context, the irregular city parcel is located on Roosevelt between Austin and Central at the city's border with near Cicero and Oak Park. The parcel is outlined the red dashed line, fronts Roosevelt Road between Wallace Avenue and Menard Avenue. Here are some street views of the vacant property, and there's a storage facility to the west of the vacant property. The parcel is located within an industrial area, but half a city block of residential. The parcel is zoned M2-2 with a proposed zoning change of C2-2. In a separate action, UHS proposes to amend the existing PD 933 to include the city parcel. This proposed site plan shows the behavior health addition to be constructed on the city parcel. Here's an enlarged floor plan featuring the interior layout of the hospital addition. The construction will expand hospital services by providing almost 23,000 square feet of additional space. Above is the rendering for reference, and below is the south elevation. Here are the other elevations. This is a single story. The single story facade would rise 15 feet and is made up of a combination of smooth and textured surfaces with a brick accent. The site is located within the 29th Ward. Alderman Taliaferro has provided a letter of support, and DPD recommends the CDC approve the city land disposition of 5736 West Roosevelt Road. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Raquel. If present, I would like to recognize Alderman Taliaferro and invite him to make a statement on the project. Is the alderman or anyone from his office present?
No, they're not, but the development team is here.
Great, thank you so much. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, Raquel is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Do you have any questions? Commissioner Thomas.
Can you describe the development team, the makeup?
Yes, would the development team come up? To answer.
Hello, Commissioners. My name's Braden Lord. I'm a land use attorney with the law firm of Taft, Titinius, and Hollister, and I'm serving on the Land Use Council team for the UHS Hartgrove expansion.
Good afternoon. I'm Trudy Bueller with Mackey Consultants. I'm the civil engineer on the project.
Good afternoon. My name is Lawan Robinson. I'm one of the senior executive leaders at Hartgrove Hospital.
Thank you. Any further questions, Commissioner Thomas?
No, thank you.
Commissioners, are there any additional questions?
Thank you.
Raquel, just one moment. We're not quite done yet, please. If there are no further questions from members of the commission, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. And if you would like to speak, please step to the mic. I do not see any members of the public who wish to speak on this item. So if there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will now call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with UHS of Hartgrove, Inc. for the disposition of the property located at 5736 West Roosevelt Road in the Roosevelt Cicero Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections from members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you. Commissioners, for the next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Candy Cobbs for the disposition of the property located at 215 East 45th Street in the 47th King Tax Increment Financing District Redevelopment Project area. Nelson Chung will provide a brief description on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the Commission. For the record, Nelson Chung, Department of Planning and Development. I'm here presenting the a proposed land sale of 215 East 45th Street to Miss Candy Cobbs. The project is located in the 47th King Drive Tax Increment Finance District, and Community Development Commission is required, approval is required for the sale of this property located within the redevelopment area. Above is a overview of the land sale project. The purchaser is Miss Candy Cobbs. She's the property owner of 4507 South Indiana, and the city lot is located to the rear of the property on in Indiana. So I'm gonna get to those slides so you can see this. Ms. Cobbs initially acquired the property at 4507 South Indiana in 2005, so she's owned it for approximately 20 years. Situations that the city lot is keeping redevelopment happening here because it's basically absolutely platting of this 4500 block of Indiana. It interrupts alley access for 4 properties, including the property we're talking about today. Ms. Cobbs, again, has been, she had thought she owned a property, has been maintaining property for the past 20 years, has been spending upwards of over $25,000 toward a property. The planning department is planning to subdivide a lot, and I'm going to go into the next slides here. For context, the prep is located within Grand Boulevard community area, 47 King Drive, TIF. The TIF district was initially created in 2005, and the red dot shows you the location of the city property. The above map, arrow map shows again the shape of the city lot, and it's located right at the kind of intersection of 45th Street and kind of Indiana. The above Sidwell property tax map shows the city lot, again, is kind of oblong, and basically it impedes alley access from the properties on 45th Street. This is a view of Indiana along 45th Street, and then we get to the view of the rear. Again, showing the rear. Working with the Alderman Dow on this project, we are proposing to subdivide the city lot into 4 workable pins to be sold to the properties in the front. Again, you can see the absolute platting kind of made it very difficult for these properties not having any alley access or access to the rear. All these properties have been essentially using these lots and thought they were owning these lots. Again, it's a subdividing lot makes these lots usable for the properties in front and creates a more a workable site. I do want to point out that the size and dimension of these lots is really important. The lot we're selling, the number 1 to Ms. Cobbs, is only 50 feet wide by 49 feet wide, and the other ones are 25 by 45. So difficult to develop in a lot. So that's another reason we're here today. This is the front view of the property that Ms. Cobbs owns. And then this is a view of the back, reiterating what the property looks like. The property's on the back, along Indiana. You can see their rear yards with a stairwell gate going to the city lots. Again, really, they're essentially functionally trespassing on the city lot. The city is proposing to sell the city lot to Ms. Cobbs. The appraised value, market value is $22,500, and we're proposing to sell it at discounted at 10% value, which is $2,250, which again is really the basis of her taking care of the lot for almost 20 years, and also the developability of the lot, and also the city's ability to kind of clean up this obsolete platting. So again, the project has the support of Alderman Dow, 3rd Ward. In summary, the Department of Planning and Development has thoroughly reviewed the proposed land sale at property located at 215 East 45th Street to Ms. Candy Cobbs. And the department has reviews public benefits and project conforms with the TIF redevelopment plan. The department recommends that the CDC recommend to the City Council the approval for the city's disposition of the property. And thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you, Nelson. If present, I would like to recognize Alderwoman Dow and invite her to make a statement on the project. Is Alderwoman Dow or anyone from her office here? All right, thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, Nelson is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Do you have any questions? Okay. Commissioner Davis?
Question is just, so for the last, I think you said 20 years, they have operated as if they owned the lot.
Correct.
They thought they owned the
Yes.
lot and have kept it up and all that. And so the city's position in terms of selling it for less is just that there's nothing that city can really do with it.
Correct, exactly.
I got you. Okay.
Any additional questions, Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Chan McKibben?
So to follow up on Commissioner Davis's question, what are the plans for the disposal of the other 3 lot?
It's a very good question. Our plan is we're working with Alderman, Dow. We're gonna be listing these remaining properties through the, Shy Block Builder process this fall. That's the next round. So we've actually engaged and started talking to some of these property owners, and they've kind of said the same thing as well too. They're kind of, we would love to take an opportunity to clean this up. Love the place where, find a legitimate place to put their trash bins and garbage bags and stuff like that in order to like clean this up.
Thank you.
So we will be back here at a future date handling the process for the remainder.
Any additional questions, Commissioner Tamaki? Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. How did the city acquire those lots?
It was through it was through a tax sale. So
A tax
the-
sale? Do you know what was there before? I mean, this is so odd to me.
It's so,
To split these pins this way.
I had it,
It makes sense for the front owners to have that back part, but
so the city acquired these lots through a tax sale in 1976. So,
okay.
half a decade, or century, I hate to say the word century, but half a century ago. And I don't want to say this is the third and fourth ward, because it's a very old part of the city. There's a lot of kind of irregular type conditions, so we're
Yeah.
spending a lot of our time helping out the aldermen, helping out the constituents in terms of how do we clean things up and just get more standard planning in place here. That's something we're very focused about in helping the aldermen out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Davis?
Along the line. I agree. It looks so strange. I guess my concern is not with the person who wants the property and who's been maintaining it, but when the city lets that parcel go, then, and there's no real plan for the other two yet, nothing has happened. Do we leave her in a bad position? Because now she's adjacent to some property that it looks like it's not necessarily being kept up per se.
Well, we are, so we're gonna, and I didn't address it here, is that we're gonna work with the county to do a parcel pin subdivision. So we're essentially creating 4 new taxable pins for these properties. So we're working with them individually and selling them. So we've already talked with the 2 of the adjacent owners, so they kind of are, they've already kind of heads up, they're interested in. moving
Are they
forward.
interested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Boatright.
Yeah, so just to add even more context, just in terms of kind of next steps, Nelson mentioned Shy Block Builder being the next step. And so we would want to kind of give those owners an opportunity to acquire the back lots, just like she's been given that same opportunity so that it's more consistent with the kind of parcel layout. And so that would be part of our next phase
Right.
with Shy Block Builder. Just so it would be timely to your earlier point, so that the lots continue to be maintained.
Are there any additional questions from members of the commission? Thank you, members of the commission. If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and if you care to make remarks, please come to the mic. There are no members of the public who have chosen to speak on this item. If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Candy Cobbs for the disposition of the property located at 215 East 45th Street in the 47th King Tax Increment Financing District redevelopment project area. If there are no objections, I move due passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections to members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you. Commissioners, for the next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to advertise the Department of Planning and Development's intention to enter into a negotiated sale with the Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago for the disposition of the property located at 9121 South Burley Avenue in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area. to request alternative proposals, and to approve the sale of the property to Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago, Inc., if no responsive alternative proposals are received. James Michaels will provide a brief description on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the commission. My name is James Michaels from the Department of Planning and Development. This item is a fair market sale for the unimproved city-owned parcel located at 9121 South Burley Avenue, the Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago, 3235 East 91st Street, founded in 1917. In 2020, the church purchased 912731 South Burley to house their youth church administrative wing, classrooms, and a rental venue to openly share with the community with a commitment to revitalization of the community. The property is zoned RS2 in the South Chicago community area. Parcel will be used as a non-accessory parking for the church. The appraised market value is $4,750 and the sale price is $4,750. The vacant lot dimensions are 25 by 140 or 3,500 square feet approximately. In addition, the department has obtained AS clearance on the parcel, and we have support from 10th Ward Alderman Peter Chico. So this is the church, this Pilgrim Baptist Church. It's a famous church. It was in the Blues Brothers movie back a while ago. The church owns those two yellow outlines there, and they want to buy that city parcel in red to combine them together. Once they combine them together, they will begin with their parking lot. So they want to assemble these two. They already own the parcels on both sides. So I think going ahead with this would be the recommendation from the department. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, James. If present, I would like to recognize Alderman Chico and invite her to make a statement on the project. Is the alderman or anyone
I
from
don't
the
believe
office?
the alderman's.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, James is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Do you have any questions? And Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you. I don't have any questions. I have a statement, and I'll need to recuse myself. That is my church. I'm a very proud member of Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago. And the pastor there, Corin Lassenby, is an awesome community member, and we need that parcel because we don't have no place to park on Sunday. So, but having said that, I'll recuse myself, but I'm very glad to see that this is up before us.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the commission? If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and if you care to make comments, please come to the mic at this time.
Yes,
Yeah, Mr. Blakemore.
yes, I think Pilgrim is one of our historical Black churches. And I'm very happy for them to receive this historical landmark and all the monies that will go with this. And thank you very much for bringing this up. We have many beautiful landmarks in the city of Chicago, and perhaps you all will look at the Regal. This is our jewel on 79th and now, Mr. Blakemore, you're having a senior moment, Stony Island. So again, I urge you all to look at that particular building, bring it back to its glorious days like they do with the Apollo Theater over in the Hispanic area. So this is why it's very important for us to attend these meetings. We have a glorious history. And I thank you, and I thank you ladies and gentlemen, and conducting this meeting in a very affectionate way. We have one of our ex-altar ladies is on the committee, but perhaps you can educate and inform the public where they would be able to come and see the good work that you all are doing here, and it won't be 2 committee meetings held at the same time. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Are there any additional members of the public who would care to speak on this matter?
Yes.
Yes, please start. Thank you so much, and please start by saying your name.
Oh, hello. My name is Tawan Sims. So this church is, so when I was little, I attended this church. We actually sang in this church. And I was probably like 12, I think. Speak Lord was the song we sang. So they buying this church and tearing it down, or are they redeveloping the church? What-
They're buying a parcel for their parking lot back here. They already own the church. They're just buying the city
Oh,
lot
So
outlined
we
in red.
extending the church.
This is for their parking. They're gonna buy a
Oh,
piece
this is
of,
awesome. Thank you. I thought y'all was gonna.
yeah, they own the parcels
it
in the
down.
yellow.
No,
They're
it's not.
the parcel in the red is the city parcel. So it's just a small slot in the red checker. They're gonna put it together and put their parking lot there.
Oh, we definitely for that. Thank you. Thank you. I thought it was to tear it down. No.
No.
Needed that. Thank you. Thank you. No, I got nothing to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Are there any additional members of the public who would care to make a comment? If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will now call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to advertise the Department of Planning and Development's intention to enter into a negotiated sale with Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago, Inc., for the disposition of the property located at 9121 South Burley Avenue in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago if no responsive alternative proposals are received. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. However, I want to note that Commissioner Davis is recusing herself from voting on this matter. Thank you. Thank you, James.
Have a good day.
Hearing no objections, the motion is approved. And let the record reflect that Commissioner Davis is abstaining from voting on this item. Commissioners, for the next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Stalwart Market LLC for the disposition of the property located at 3320 through 3322 East 90th Street in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area. Meg Gustafson will provide a brief description of this on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Hello,
Hi.
thank you. For the record, Meg Gustafson, Department of Planning and Development. I have 3 projects here, all Shy Block Builder land sales. This first one is to Stalwart Market LLC, who is Felicia Kimbers. She plans, so this lot is in the 10th Ward. We have Alderman Chico's support. It's in the South Chicago TIF district. This was in our first round of Shy Block Builder, and because it's an open space application, it will be sold for 10% of value, which the 2 parcels added together, 10% of value is $1,392. This property was acquired by a tax deed scavenger sale in 1999. TIF funds were not used for the acquisition. Stalwart Market LLC plans to convert this vacant lot into a community garden, which will include an orchard, a berry patch, raised garden beds, beehives, and a tool shed. Here we go. Sorry about that. It's approximately 4,640 square feet. Here is the zoning. It's RS-2. And let's see. There is the TIF district, the zoning map and location map. And for context, this is becoming a bit of a urban agriculture district. Calumet Gateway Garden is a neighbor space site at the bottom of the map in red. Urban Growers Collective has been operating in the park for quite some time now. My next presentation is Fresher Together in green up there, and then this one is Stalwart Market in the 2 pins in red. Here's a site photo. And then that description is what I was just reading. She wants to promote community engagement, encourage healthy living, and enhance the local environment. She lives on the block. Here is a plan that is in draft form, but it will include $128,000 budget, $80,000 of which comes from the Community Growers Program, and which I have Miranda Raskin here from BACP if we have any questions about the Community Growers Program. But she has raised most of these funds, and there's her detailed budget for the phase 1. And that is my last slide for Felicia Kimber's Stalwart Market LLC. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. If present, I would like to recognize Alderman Chico and invite him to make a statement on the project. The alderman or anyone from the office present? Okay. Thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, Meg is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Yeah, Commissioner Boatright.
Sure. Meg, can you speak to the engagement around like activities on activating the site and how she plans to engage neighbors and other stakeholders?
Sure. So Felicia, will be her private garden. This one is, unlike our neighbor space ones, she wants to engage the neighborhood, but this, we were also talking about her getting water access. She wants to get her own water access because this is going to be her garden with neighbors in the community. My next two projects are Neighbor Space, which is a little different and a little more, they're part of a broader network. But I can get back to you on exactly who from the neighborhood, if there are any other nonprofit groups, but it is mostly, it's mostly her, she lives on the block and it's her LLC
I got it.
in this case. I don't know if Miranda has anything to add to that for Felicia. Thank you, Miranda.
I'm Miranda Raskin. I'm a project manager in the Office of the Mayor. I've been supporting on some of this land access work as well as facilitating the Community Growers Program, which is a BACP program. And I mean, yeah, to Meg's point, Felicia lives in the neighborhood and has lived in the neighborhood for a long time and has been active in the urban growing community. I can also report back with who exactly her partners are. That was part of her application through Shyblock Builder. But yeah, she has partnerships specifically also with Fresher Together and Urban Growers Collective who are in the same area as her.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you. Are there any other members, are there any additional questions from members of the commission?
Yes.
So there are no further questions from members of the commission. So I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. And if you would like to speak on this item, please come to the microphone at this time.
Thank you.
Mr. Blakemore.
Chairman, I'm receiving an education in civics. Maybe I will make a statement instead of asking a question. When those lots, they have several of those lots in Lundale, similar with agricultural neighbor space of the nonprofit organization. When they receive those lots, after a certain time, over the years, well, will those lots also, when they're not developed as neighbor space and with the agriculture aim of growing fresh vegetables, well, what would happen to these lots? Now, I talked to Ms. Megan several years ago, a year ago, and when they was talking about dollar lots, she said no more lots for $1 in our great city. So I'm wondering, over a period of time, those lots are no longer used enable space and growing products, then who owns these lots? And can these people who went into the agreement, will they be able to sell these lots and make a profit off of this land that used to have been grown fresh vegetables? So, you know, that's why it's very important for Mr. Blakemore to come to these meetings, because he think out of the box. He has questions. And this is not a question and answer session. However, I will talk to Ms. Megan later about after they have those vacant lots on the west side and south side in the ghetto. Then when people started moving in and these lots are valuable and they're not, will they still be used for agricultural purpose? So you don't have to answer this question now, Ms. Megan. I would ask you this question later, but I'm educating, informing, and enlightening the people here about the games that are being played, even with these vacant lots. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore. Are there any other members of the public who would like to speak on this matter? If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Stalwart Market LLC for the disposition of the property located at 3320 and 3322 East 90th Street in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections, members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Commissioners, for our next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Neighbor Space for the disposition of the property located at 8926 through 40 South Mackinac Avenue in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. Matt Gufferson will provide a brief description of this on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Thank you. Again, for the record, Meg Gustafson, DPD. This project is an urban agriculture project in our November 2023 round of Shy Block Builder. And this may answer some of George's questions, actually. This is part of our Community Growers Program. We are proposing to sell these lots. There are 7 lots at 8926 through 40 South Mackinac for $1 each for urban agriculture to Neighbor Space, a public land trust. They will be required to hold this land and garden on it for 10 years, and then we'll reassess, but it's a minimum of 10 years. Here is the location map. This is also in the 10th Ward. We have Alderman Chico's support. Those are the 7 pins. They're all zoned RS2. This has been cleared by 2FM environmentally to sell and for garden use, for urban agriculture use. And the proposed development team is Neighbor Space. Here's a map of the TIF and the location map. You can see the 7 parcels across from the park. And here's that same context map showing all the urban ag in the area. Fresher Together is the partner with Neighbor Space, the neighborhood partner. They are also of the immediate neighborhood. Here's a photo of the site and their proposed site plan. Their budget for phase 1 is $150,000. And then they have a phase 2 and phase 3 that I can scroll the next slide there. I actually listed their partners here so I can answer that question. They're partnered with Brave Space Alliance, Farm Food Familias, Howard Brown Health, the Love Fridge, Midwest Vegetable Growers Network, Artesian Grain Collaborative, Southside Birth Center, and Let Us Breathe Collective. And I have Miranda Raskin here from BACP to answer any detailed questions about Fresher Together. That is my last slide for this proposed land sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. If present, I would like to recognize Alderman Chico and invite him to make a statement on the project. Is he or anyone from his office present? Thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, Meg is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Chan McKibben.
Yeah, I have a very specific question about the trees. Because in the current photo, there are all these very large, probably old growth trees. And in the proposed map, the tree canopy doesn't seem to be in the same place. Or am I not looking at it correctly?
I believe, so north.
You know, so the specific question is
Right.
whether the old trees are going to be removed
I
and
think
then
they
the.
do plan to remove some of the trees. And in the site plan, you can see that there's a mushroom growing area in the shaded tree area. So I do think some of the trees will be removed because it's pretty heavily wooded.
Yep.
But they have a plan to save some of them and then grow on the rest. But I can map that out for you and send it back because I think, so this photo is facing shooting west and the map is facing north. So I think actually the photos taken where that gray circle is that says tree canopy.
Would be part, would be some of the trees, but not
Some
as
of the
many.
tree- yeah.
Yeah, got it.
But I think you're right that they will be removing some of them.
Mhm.
If that answers your question.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a very specific question about trees, yes.
Any additional questions from members of the commission? If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and if you would care to speak on this matter, please come to the microphone at this time. Mr. Blakemore, thank you.
Thank you. It's very important to connect the dots. See, I'm not just your average citizen. I go to a lot of meetings and Kip. And one of the financial meetings that I attended, saying that when these tips are out, faded out, then they won't be renewed. And the purpose of these tips was to bring economic development in these plighted areas, ghettos. So, but that's not what they're using the tip for. But the average citizen would think that tip would mean bring it to the ghetto. No, Block 37, over there where they have that casino, that was a tip. So it's a scheme to make the rich get rich at the expense of the poor. So after these lots that been under the sky of urban space farming, after 10 years, you're giving it to them for $1. But after those 10 years, that area could be developed. And what who owns these lots? TIF. Some of this TIF, they in the financial meetings that I attend, they say they're gonna phase some of these TIFs out. The games that they play with poor people. Now that Alderman might be kind of smart, trying to keep them in among his people in his area for those 10 years, knowing that it will be developers that will come in to keep it. He's trying to empower his people. And I'm Black, and I'm trying to empower my people. Having you all on the board is very nice, but I'm advocating for Black people, and you have a very good advocate with Mr. Blakemore, because Ms. Megan said no more dollar lots. But this is a slowing down. You all are slowing down your gentrification. Y'all want to control this property where your people can still be there. And nothing wrong with you advocating to stay there. And there's nothing wrong with me advocating for my people to be there too, for this economic development, these TIP. So again, thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to speak the way you are conducting your meetings. Before, you conduct your meetings completely different from these other hacks. Stop that. And you should be a pattern, they should pattern after how you conduct these meetings. All these meetings should be conducted in this manner. And God bless you, Chairman, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Appreciate that blessing for sure.
May I clarify something that I said earlier?
Yes, you may, Meg.
Because these are being, this one and the next project are being sold to NeighborSpace, they are an urban land trust that holds these lands for open space in perpetuity. So the first one, receiving BACP support, has a 10-year minimum limit if they're getting funding for that program. These ones will be gardens in perpetuity because they're part of the NeighborSpace program. And I don't think I made that clear in the beginning. So.
Thank you, Meg. That clarification is very important. We appreciate
Yes,
it.
I should have said that earlier.
No,
Thank you.
that's fine. It's on the record now,
It's
so
on
we're
the
good.
record.
It's all good. Thank you. Are there any additional members of the public who would like to make a statement? If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with NeighborSpace for the disposition of the property located at 8926 through 40 South Mackinac Avenue in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any abstentions or objections from members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Commissioners, for our next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with NeighborSpace for the disposition of the property located at 6801 South Dante Avenue in the 71st and Stony Island Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. Meg Gufferson will provide a brief description of this on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Thank you. For my last project, for the record, my name is Meg Gustafson, Department of Planning and Development. This property is located in the 5th Ward, Alderman Desmond Yancey. This proposed land sale is to NeighborSpace, an urban land trust that holds gardens in perpetuity. 6801 South Dante in the 5th Ward. We have the alderman's support for this. It's been cleared by 2FM, AIS, formerly AIS, as environmentally clean. Here's the project TIF map, the zoning map and the context map, and a broader context map showing where Dante Avenue Farm is located, which to anchor people is near the Stony Island Arts Bank, and Tranquil Garden, which is another NeighborSpace garden. Oakwood Cemetery is just to the west, and there's the blue is city-owned land, so there's actually still a lot of city-owned land in this pocket. Here is the site plan. The neighborhood partner with NeighborSpace here is called Dante Avenue Farm. They have a budget of $40,000. It's a much smaller site than the others. And they are also, let's see. I'll go to my next, oh no, that's my last slide. This was acquired without using TIF funds in 2001 as part of a foreclosure on a demo lien. And it's currently zoned RT4. The zoning will not change. Proposed development team is NeighborSpace. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. If present, I would like to recognize Alderman Yancey and invite him to make a statement on the project. Is the alderman or anyone from his office present?
No.
Thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, Meg is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The space is right next door to what looks like a two-flat, maybe? Do you know if, the residents right next door are participating or have been informed that there'll be a garden right next to them?
Yes, that's part of our, that's part of the application process. And then once we approve it, we ask them again and a lot of times they're sharing water and the people are gardeners. So yes, we do have, we require the neighbors to know about it and support it.
Thank you.
I also failed to mention they'll be sharing the water with the garden across the street. So that's just neither here nor there, just a fact that I forgot to mention. Tranquil Garden in the red.
Any other questions from members of the commission? I actually have a question.
Sure.
Just in general, with these types of urban gardening initiatives, can you speak to if there are any requirements of experience of the individuals that are taking on these projects, and what has our experience been with the success of the urban gardening initiative?
Great question. So there's usually two categories. These two were neighbor space. This one is not a community growers program. This one's just a garden, a neighborhood garden. And if it's gotten this far to go to neighbor space, they have a very rigorous application process. They require all kinds of vetting. They have a board, and this has passed all of their strict vetting. And then the other ones with the BACP, they're getting funding from the city. So that is, we require support letters in either case from the alderman, from the nearby neighbors, and they have to do the EDS and prove they owe no city debt. All of those things are part of so Neighbor Space has about 120 gardens citywide in 41 wards that they own in perpetuity. And we think they've all been very successful.
Great, thank you. It's very helpful. Commissioners, are there any additional
Miranda.
questions? Okay, I'm sorry, please, just one moment, please. So there are no further questions. I'm now going to invite you and other members of the public to speak on this item.
Thank you once again. I'm Miranda Raskin with the Office of the Mayor. And I also just wanted to bring up that both for the BACP Community Growers Program applications and for the Shy Block Builder Urban Agriculture Land Access application, proof of growing experience is required, whether that be Master Gardener certificates or letters of support from partners and neighbors, and like narrative descriptions of previous experience and like pounds of food grown.
Great, thank you. That's very helpful. Are there any additional members of the public or any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? If you would like to speak on this item, please come to the mic and each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes.
Yes,
Mr. Blakemore, please.
yes. Health is wealth, and organic food is what the body needs. I think it's very important to get the people in the community to be able to participate in these programs. And also, it can teach them that they could go to these farmers markets and sell some of the food, and be able also, when they plant the food, that they can harvest it and eat it themselves. So I think it's wonderful. But I hope that it's not some abuse with this program. They get funded and money, and you always have to follow that money to make sure that these neighbor space and these organizations are doing justice. Now, in the future, it would be very important from someone from the Alderman office to be present at these meetings, or one of his representatives exactly what's going on. It was always suspect to me, that it was something a little shady with these little farm, spaces in these neighborhoods. And I know you said it's gonna be a $40,000, finance of this. So everything must be monitored. You got to make them accountable. And they coming up telling you what they are doing. But you have to have some kind of means of enforcement to make sure that what they're presenting on paper is actually in the benefit of the neighbor. And also, one of the most important things is good food, health is wealth. To have the young people in the area to participate in growing this food, telling them how to harvest the food, when, how to prepare the food. So again, everything have to be monitored. And to make sure that there's nothing shady that's going on. Because of course, the people from neighbor space, they would be able to come up and say something good. But you have to have a little policeman now, the police neighbor space, and the finance, and the games that people play under disguise of neighbor space and little farm pop-up growing. So it's money. Wherever it's money, it's abuse. It's abuse. So the office should be here, or some representative, stop this, from his office to be here to clear up some of these questions that I've asked. Bid back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore. Are there any other members of the public who would wish to comment on this matter? If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Neighbor Space for the disposition of the property located at 6801 South Dante Avenue in the 71st and Stony Island Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections or abstentions from members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you, Meg. Commissioners, for our last item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is requesting that CDC accept for review the amended redevelopment plan for the proposed Pilsen Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area Amendment Number 4. As part of this request, DPD is also seeking to set May 3rd, 2024 as the date for the public meeting of the Joint Review Board and to set June 11, 2024 as the date of the public hearing convened at the CDC meeting to review the proposed TIF amendment. On May 24th, 2023, DPD placed a copy of the proposed amendment to the Pilsen redevelopment plan and eligibility report on file with the city clerk's office for review by the public. Additionally, commissioners, each of you have received an electronic copy of the updated documents from DPD directly. Since this action is merely to accept these documents and set a date for public meetings, there will be no presentation at this time. DPD staff will, however, provide a full presentation on the proposed Fourth Amendment of the Pilsen TIF District at the June 11th meeting of the Community Development Commission. Let me just repeat that. DPD staff will provide a full presentation on the proposed Fourth Amendment of the Pilsen TIF District at the June 11th meeting of the Community Development Commission. At this time, I will call this item to a vote. The item before us would accept for review the amended redevelopment plan for the proposed Pilsen Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area Amendment Number 4 and set May 3rd, 2024 as the date for the public meeting of the Joint Review Board, and set June 11, 2024 as the date of the public hearing convened at the CDC meeting to review the proposed TIF amendment. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections or abstentions from members of the commission? Thank you. So we are amending the request from DPD to call for the Joint Review Board meeting on May 2nd, 2024. So if there are no objections, and with that clarification or change in the request from the department, I move that this motion is approved. Commissioners, that was our last item on today's agenda. If there are no further questions or comments, I move to adjourn the April 9th meeting of the Community Development Commission by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing none, we are adjourned.